So I'm going to be showing you how to do the classwork assignment for the guided watercolor painting. Basically what we're doing is putting together a whole bunch of things that we've been covering about watercolor techniques. So we're going to use our mixing skills and the variations of greens, browns, blues available to us. We're going to be keeping in mind light source, highlights, cast shadows, and keeping a consistent light source throughout our painting, as well as being mindful of different value usage. And we are going to be incorporating quite a few of the techniques we covered in this assignment, such as a wash, glazing techniques, dry brush, lifting off. So we're going to put all those things together to create a very simplified little landscape tree painting. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to have my piece of paper, I'm going to have a pencil, set of watercolors, water, paper towel, and I'm just going to section my paper off into thirds, with these two sections being much smaller and this one much larger. So I'm going to show you two different ways to create clouds, and I'm also going to just create a very simplified tree. So because we're just doing this as kind of classwork practice, we're not really doing anything too fancy. So we're just gonna create your classic puffy kind of generic, I don't know, apple tree, whatever we want to call it. Boop, boop, boop. Good enough. Okay. We're going to put some branches in there to hold up all those beautiful leaves. So yours may look like mine, yours may look absolutely nothing like mine. It's completely up to you. It's more important to me the techniques that we're going to be using. I'm going to have a line for kind of my ground, my grass, and then I'm also going to create a very simplified mountain range in the background. So just little softened triangular shapes, just to give a little bit more, I don't know, of a world, I guess, for my tree to live in. So you notice my pencil work's very sketchy. It is just a practice assignment, so I'm not that worried about really high quality. Okay, off we go. We've got our tree, we've got some branches, we got mountains, we got our ground, and we got a couple of different skies. Now, a lot of times it's really tempting for students to want to just use the colors as they come straight out of the kit, but these are very cartoony sort of colors. And when we're working realistically, especially kind of with nature, we are going to have to mix up different types of colors for our scenes instead of just relying on using them as they come. So I'm just getting a big dollop of blue here, water on my brush. You do want a decent amount of color every time you're painting. You want your puddle to be pretty large, because if you use up all your paint, it's a little bit tricky to kind of color match. So it's nice to give yourself more rather than less. So I'm wanting to mix a different color for my sky. For this section, I like kind of how warm this looks, so I'm going to add just a little bit of green to my blue. Not too much, I still want it to read as blue. I ran out of green, so I had to get a nice fresh one here. And then if you're not totally sure how that color is coming out, you can always test it on your paper towel to get an idea. So that still looks pretty blue. That doesn't look too green to me. Move that out of the way. And then, as always with watercolor, if you have a pretty large expansive area to paint, you want to put a decent amount of water on your brush or on the paper. Not so much that it starts pooling, but you do want a little bit just to get your paper primed so that all the paint has somewhere to go. If you're just trying to move dry paint around over a large area, it's going to take you a while to do so. So we're just going to create a very light wash. This does not have to be one solid color. Great. Okay. Nice light sky background. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do that lifting off technique that we learned in our last assignment, where while the paint is still wet, I'm just going to kind of swirl around some paint into these cloud shapes. Some water into these cloud shapes, and then use my paper towel to lift off the color. This is one technique we've already learned for lightening up an area, but you'll notice it's still not completely white. Once you've put color on the paper, it is hard to make it 100% white again. So a way that we can ensure that it's going to be bright white is kind of almost like a masking off technique, but I'm not actually going to be taping anything off or using glue or anything like that. I'm going to be painting around the shapes, sort of like a negative painting, and leaving the center white. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to mix up a different type of blue just to get ideas for blue skies. Make this one a little darker by adding some purple. Great. Again, I'm just gonna get just water on my brush. And then, as we remember when we did our wet and wet technique, watercolor paint will only go where there's water, and it will leave dry paper alone. So it's really hard to see on the camera, but when you do it yourself, you'll see I'm painting the outline of clouds. What you don't want to do is color inside the clouds. You want to leave those dry. So I'm actually just taking plain water and painting around those clouds, leaving the centers of them dry because, as we know, watercolor only goes where there's water. So you'll see as I'm adding it in that it's kind of working its way around those dry patches. It's not actually going to mix into those spots. So you'll see my cloud outlines forming. Okay. So we've got the lifting off, we've kind of masked off the area using just water for these. Whatever combination of technique you want to use, you're gonna do just a third color blue for this guy, or even not blue. If you wanna do something else, go for it, but we're just kind of practicing mixing up our own unique colors rather than relying on them as they come out of the kit. This one, I think I'm going to add some brown to it, just a tiny bit, to make sure that it reads as blue and not brown. There we go. And I'm going to, again, just kind of paint out those cloud shapes. From there, I'm going to work on my tree. One thing that I want us to remember is that when we are painting with watercolors, they're the opposite of most types of paint in that you can't really paint a light value over it once it's dried or in general. So we always need to pick our lightest color first and then let it dry and paint a darker layer on top. So, with the tree, it is a strong temptation for people to just take this very bright Crayola green and just drop it straight onto the tree and call it done. That's how you're gonna get a very flat cartoon, unrealistic looking tree. We're going to need to create different colors, and we're also going to need to keep in mind a light source. So we have a sun, and it shines on the earth, and that's where our light source comes from most of the time during the day. So if I put a sun here and that sunlight direction's coming this way, this side of my tree is going to be much brighter. This side's going to be darker, and everything facing away from the light source is going to be darker. The trunk is very much like a cylinder, so we're going to have darker edges on the trunk, but because we have this big canopy of leaves, it's not going to have a really bright highlight. It's still going to be lighter, but we're going to have some shadow around. It's going to be shadowed here. We just want to keep in mind that light source as we go. If I take a look at actual real trees, I noticed that the lightest color tends to usually be kind of a very yellow-green. A lot of those leaves are dying or just coming in, and so they end up being more yellow than green. So I'm mixing up a very light yellow-green, and then I'm gonna have a decent amount of water on my brush. Again, you don't want this to be too thick of a layer because you do want it to dry relatively quickly so that you can paint over it. So I'm going through this quicker than I would in class for the sake of the video being kind of short. So you can see how, because this is wet, the paint is following where that sky is. So you might want to let yours dry completely before you paint it in. For mine, I'm just trying to go quickly enough for the sake of just the video. Just a little bit more. And then I have to let that dry. So when that layer dries, what you're going to want to do is mix up a darker green to go as the next layer. So you'll notice that I have my sunlight coming in this direction. This side's where that bright light color is going to be seen most. And then you'll see I have a slightly darker green that I did under it. That's kind of my mid-tone that I brought up further. And then I had a very dark green. So I let this dry completely, and then I kind of stippled like this, that mid-tone green, let that layer dry, and then did this darker one. That helps create, again, this kind of dimensionality, this idea of individual leaves. If you paint it one solid color, it again doesn't seem quite as realistic. Feel free to paint right over those branches too. It kind of brings them in. And then you'll see I do have the darker values on the edges here, and it goes towards the middle with a lighter highlight. The other thing I want you to know when you're ready is how to just really simplify these mountains. Because they are so far in the background, the tree doesn't affect them. We don't need to create this shadow. These are really far away from the tree, but they are affected by the sun. So the sides that are facing the sun are going to have a little bit of highlight, and the sides that are away are going to be in shadow. If you paint in that direction, it gives it a little bit more of that kind of mountain effect. And then I did just kind of a light green under here, came in, did a little bit of shadow, and then did a dry brush technique to get these grasses. So if you check out the previous video and you've seen how to do these dry brush, and we've done our forms in watercolor, you should be able to do this part on your own. But if you do need help, let me know. I do have the finished example posted in Google Classroom as well for you to reference as you work. And then when you're finished, submit a photo and I'll be happy to give you the credit.